Kalosax the Tormentor strode through the dark warrens of Rugasa, shoving lesser wormlings aside. None dared to snarl or raise a hand to stop him. Instead, the pale creatures cowered back in fear. He was imposing in part because of his bulk. At 9 feet, Kalosax towered over all but even the largest wormlings. The bony plate that ran along his forehead was abnormally thick, and the horny nubs on his head were larger than most. He was broad of chest, and his canines hung well below his lower lip. All of these were signs to other wormlings that he was potentially a violent man. But it was not his brutal appearance alone that won him deference. His black robes of office struck fear in the hearts of others, as did his blood-soaked hands. The labyrinth seemed alive with excitement. It coursed through Kalosax's veins and thrummed through every taut muscle. He could see it in the faces of those that he passed and hear it in their nervous voices. Some had fear upon their faces, while others' fears deepened to dread, but some faces shone with wonder or hope, bloodlust or exultation. It was a rare and heady combination. It was an exciting time to be alive. 4 days ago, a huge army had left Rugasa to destroy the last of the humans at Caer Luciare. The attack was to have begun that very night. Thus the hope upon the people's faces that after a war that had raged for 3,000 years, the last of their enemies would be gone. But then, 2 days past, everything had changed. A whole world had fallen from the sky, and when it struck, the worlds did not crash and break. Instead, they combined into one whole. A world that was new and different, a world that combined the magics and peoples of 2 worlds, sometimes in unexpected ways. Mountains had fallen and rivers had flooded. Ancient forests suddenly sprouted outside the castle gate where none had stood before. Strange creatures roamed the land, and all was in chaos. Now reports were coming from Wyrmling outposts in every quarter. There was something new in the land. Humans. Smaller folk than those of Caer Luciare. If the reports could be believed, they lived by the millions in every direction. It was rumored that it was one of their own wizards who bound the world of the Wyrmlings with their own. Such power was cause enough for the Wyrmlings' nervousness, but there was also cause for celebration. Within the past few hours, rumors had been screaming through the chain of command that the great worm itself had taken a new form and now walked the labyrinth, showing abilities that had never been dreamed, not even in Wyrmling legend. Strange times indeed. The last battle against the human warrior clans had been fought. Caer Luciare had been taken. The human warriors had been slaughtered and routed. The news was glorious. But the Wyrmlings remained nervous, unsure what might happen next. They stood in small knots and gossiped when they should be working. Some were disobedient and needed to be brought back into line. So Kalosax the Tormentor was busy. In dark corridors where only glowworms lit his way, he searched through the creche where the scent of children mingled with the mineral smells of the warren, until at last he found a teaching chamber with 3 silver stars above the door. He did not call out at the door, but instead shoved it open. There, a dogmatist stood against a wall with his pupils, Wyrmling children 15 or 16 years of age. Few of the children had begun to grow the horny nubs at their temples yet, and so they looked small and effeminate. At the center of the room, a single young girl was chained by the ankle to an iron rung in the floor. She had a desk, a few planks lying upon an iron frame, but instead of sitting at her desk, she crouched beneath it, moaning and peering away distantly, as if lost in some dream. She rocked back and forth as she moaned. She was a pretty girl by Wyrmling standards. All Wyrmlings had skin that was faintly bioluminescent, and children with their excess energy glowed strongly, while those who were ancient with their leathery skin faded altogether. This girl was a bright one, with silky white hair, innocent eyes, a full round face, and breasts that had already fully blossomed.
"She refuses to sit,"
said the dogmatist, a stern old man of 60 years.
"She refuses to take part in class. When we recite the catechisms, she mouths the words. When we examine the policies, she will not answer questions."
"How long has she been like this?"
the tormentor asked.
"For 2 days now,"
the dogmatist said.
"I have berated her and beaten her, but still she refuses to cooperate."